Alright, today we're doing something a little bit different. As you've probably noticed, I'm a bit of a toy collector. I have no idea where this hobby started, but I'm pretty sure it's very heavily influenced by my oldest brother Jason, half-brother Jason. He has the most intense toy collection that I've ever seen. In fact, most of the toys I had growing up, he has them. And just so you know, he's a lot older than me. In fact, the most valuable toy or collectible that I own out of everything here is probably this Motley Crue playset behind me, which Jason actually bought for me many moons ago for Christmas. It probably does have the most value out of everything that I have, especially with the Dirt movie coming out recently on Netflix. Jason actually called me up and was like, "Hey, you still got that Motley Crue playset? Is it in good condition? Show me a photo." So we're going to go down today and check out his place, which is in the sticks. It's quite a drive, but we're going to have a look at his massive collection. He's got heaps of Star Wars stuff. He's a massive sci-fi nerd. It is quite a sight to behold. So something that Jason does not know about today's video is that I intend on getting one of my old childhood toys back. I'm actually obviously become a massive comic book nerd in the last year, so it's got something more to do with that. So I don't think he will have a problem with letting go, but just in case he does, that's why these guys are behind me. I intend to trade these guys for some of my childhood toys. Now, just before we go, I just want to quickly show off something that I bought yesterday. I bought the Kotobukiya, is that how you say it? Harley Quinn figurine yesterday. It was 30% off at this place called Lobos. Lobos is a massive toy collector's shop down here in Melbourne, Australia. And I actually finally picked this up. It was 30% off. It was a great deal. I just wanted to quickly show it off. Look at it. It is beautiful. Those hips do not lie. Anyway, let's do this. So it's a bit of a long drive to Jason, so I thought I'd tell a quick little story. So Jason's been collecting toys since about the 90s. I actually remember the day that he actually came and took all my childhood toys. When I was living with my parents, I used to keep all my toys in the laundry in this basket. All my toys, Transformers, Star Wars, Thundercats, you name it, I had it. And one day he showed up, I'm just minding my own business, and he goes in the laundry and starts grabbing all my baskets of toys. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm taking all your toys. You don't need them anymore." And that was pretty much the end of me having all of my toys. Another story about Jason is back in the 80s, everyone was terrified of him. One time, Jason's neighbor, they were playing footy at the front and playing kick to kick, and I happened to walk in front of his neighbor, I can't remember their name, but as he kicked the ball and he just full point blank, the footy just went straight into my head and like knocked me on my ass, and I started crying as, you know, I was a little kid. And that guy basically shat himself and started bolting because he knew Jason was going to come after him. So Jason started chasing after him, and when he couldn't get to him, Jason picked up his BMX over his head and then just threw it down the street like the Incredible Hulk. It was amazing.
Hi, my name's Jason, and I've been collecting Star Wars and other science fiction paraphernalia for about 40 years. Ever since I was 9 years old, well, probably about 8 when we first saw Star Wars when it first came out. I've always wanted Star Wars figures, and I always dreamed of having my own toy shop. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy for most people because I'm hitting almost 50, but it's alright. Yeah, everyone's got to have something to do, and you've got to have something to spend your money on. Alright, so, you ready guys? Let's go check this out.
Let's do this. Alright Jay, so you're obviously a big Star Wars fan. What is it about Star Wars that attracts you to it, and why do you think it has such a big cult following?
Well, what I think, right, is that basically when I was about 9 years old, the first film I ever saw was Star Wars. And I remember Mum taking us, and me and my other brothers, right? And it was school holidays, and we got out of the cinema, and it just blew my mind away because no one had ever seen anything like that before. And I mean, being 9 years old, you're a bit more impressionable, and I just thought, wow. So, you know, like every other kid back in the 70s, right, there's not, other than Star Trek and maybe your Hot Wheels toys, right, there was not really that much of a choice to choose from. So we started buying, well, Mum actually bought me my first Star Wars figure, and I was wrapped. Unfortunately, I should have kept it in the package. I'm absolutely spewing about that. But that's a life lesson, because that same thing would be worth a lot of money right today, but we'll talk about that later.
Did anyone actually keep figures sealed back then? Was toy collecting a thing back then?
It was. If you look at certain collectors back then, right, obviously they must have been collecting things for a long time, right, and they just took up, well, a pot shot at, well, look, the movie's obviously a hit. We'll just collect this, right, and see what happens, right. There's also another factor involved too, right. It happened to do with toy shops. Back in the 70s, you didn't have Toys R Us. You didn't have Toy World, Kmart, Target. Well, they almost didn't exist. You had Fossies, right? So they had this limited collection of Star Wars figures, right? But they were always turning them over. Where you had a lot of these smaller toy shops. They're like small businesses, right? And over time and all that, right, and, you know, due to economical conditions and all that stuff, right, they actually, a lot of them closed down. But what they did, they kept their inventory. They just basically put it in the garage, in a box, bang, sealed, and that's how you can actually have mint card Star Wars figures, right? Not from private collectors or anything, because they're just going to hold on to them, right? But it's basically from a lot of toy shops, or just people that thought, well, geez, that looks like rubbish, I'm not going to worry about it, right? And they just put it away and forget about it. So, you know, that happened to one of my figures that I've got, one of my play sets I've got there. I bought it when I was about 12 years old, and played with it once, took it off all, put the stickers on there, looked at it and went, oh, okay, no worries. Then took everything apart, put it back in the box, put it back in the cupboard for another 20 years. And then finally got back to it actually when I heard that the stepmom was going to clean everything out. I went, oh shit, I better get that. So, yeah.
How much does it affect the value of the product if the packaging is damaged and things like that?
All right.
On an old toy.
On an old toy, look, what really good collectors are prepared to pay a premium price for, right, are really mint cards. Now, what you got to do, right, is you got to think, well, look, I get a beat up card, right, but honestly, the card itself, right, even if it's taken off the card, the figure isn't going to be worth too much of a difference if you just bought it loose. So, and basically what you're buying is you're buying a piece of history. So you will never ever get the chance. They won't come around again, right? They won't reissue it, right? That particular card, right, is basically it's designed a certain way, it's manufactured a certain way that they cannot reproduce that same look, right? And there's a very, very simple way, right, if you know what you're looking for, to actually spot a fake card from a real card. So that's what collectors are. And to be honest, right, if I had it again, I would buy every single Star Wars figure, original, right, that came out, well, when I was a kid, right, again, right, at least 2 or 3 times over, because you will never ever get, you get different versions of the figure that Hasbro release, right, but you won't get that particular one, because back then, right, all the kids just open them, yeah, bang, 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 you know, throw it around, keep playing with it,
Well,
right.
that is the point of toys as well, to play with them.
Yeah, I know, right, but I'm like you, mate, I just like to, well, the latest collection, right, I like to have it still mint on the box, right, which a lot of collectors now, right, are too scared to take out. if you ever want to know a secret, right, to a man's heart, right, through his stomach, right, and this woman can cook. That's why I love her.
So it's not just for my looks then.
Fuck off, honey. Okay, get back in the fucking kitchen. Right,